Yo, turn it up, we at the crossroads, bringing the heat while the cool truth flows. Young minds gather, it's time to ignite. Crossroad vibes is the show that feels right. Yo, we gathering here where the beats align. Talk about life, faith, and everything fine. Young soul vibing in a space so real. Each story shared got a purpose to reveal. Not just the surface, we digging way deep. Life's a journey and these secrets we keep. From the glow of the church to the streets we roam. Crossroad vibes, man, we're calling it home. Crossroad vibes where the young hearts thrive. Discussing faith, life, and how we survive. Groovy beats rolling as we share our truth. We're lighting the way for the next generation.
We're back at the Crossroads Vibes podcast, where faith, family, and real life came together for honest conversations to inspire growth across every generation. My name is Jay Sean.
My name is Wayne.
And today we're here with a very, very special guest, Miss Odalisa Brown.
Hey.
She's a woman who wears many hats. She's a child therapist, a certified birth doula, and an infant mental health specialist, and she's also a minister of the gospel. So today we'll be talking about faith, mental health, motherhood, and how God can even be found in the crying, the chaos, and the quiet moments of raising children. So grab your coffee, your notepad, or your strolling if you're walking with us. And this is a conversation you do not want to miss.
Yes, so mental health is sometimes misunderstood in the church. How can we as believers break the stigma and support those who are struggling emotionally?
First, we got to be honest and real. We are not the same as our ancestors. We are from them. Back in the day, from pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's how we did, because we were more of a community. Now we're so diverse and set aside. We want to keep secrets. And really, we need to be honest when we are hurting. Be honest with our brothers and sisters and say, I'm really hurting. I'm not feeling myself.
Yes. So what biblical principles do you think are most helpful for families dealing with anxiety, trauma, or stress?
Families got to go back and be rooted with Proverbs. It talks about having counsel. And they're not just talking about counsel from the king or from the pastor. Just counsel in your own home. If you're a single mother, if you're a grandma having to do it again, daddy doing it by yourself, you have to have that counsel. Where do you get that counsel from? From God. Now, God He knows us so well that He even gives us a human form of that counsel. So it is a therapist. I'm not trying to be funny. I have a therapist. That's how I can still find my peace and my joy. Because with the job I do, I could easily take it home with me every day, be depressed and whatever have you. But no, because I have a therapist to unload that on, and because I have church sisters that I know, wait a minute, is this right? Am I thinking crazy? Is this where I'm supposed to be? That it helps me to navigate this world.
Well, how can the church be a safe place for conversations about therapy and postpartum struggles or emotional health?
Well, first, I really think that the church needs to have therapy in it. Offer a place, a time to say, you know what, you can come here for therapy. Because if this is a hospital for wounded souls, hello, Ascension, St. John's, Hillcrest, all them places have a psych ward. And Lord knows, Morning Star, we need a psych ward just to help us. I'm not calling us crazy. I'm just trying to keep us from going crazy.
Exactly.
So we have to be honest enough to say, you know what? When I'm having my breakthrough, when I'm crying, when I want to lay in the floor, when I want to run the aisles, hallelujah, I need to talk to my therapist.
Absolutely. So would you say as a minister, that's how you balance your spiritual guidance with your professional
I have to, because God knows how He made me.
Yeah.
You all see the outside of me, but God knows my heart. He knows He made me uniquely, and I'm intricately wound and made that He's like, yeah, she needs about 2 or 3 therapists and some guardian angels just to carry me through this walk that I'm on. Because when we walk out the door, every spirit is coming up on us. And when you are a helper, those spirits can attach to you and can drag you down, because they're like, how are you helping? How are you helping? And I'm like, that's what my job is. That's what my mission is. You mentioned the many things that I do. I do those things because God said, I need you to do it. I've appointed and anointed you to do those things. So, yeah.
I love that. Exactly.
That's a good answer. How do you protect your own spiritual and emotional health while pouring into others?
I pray always. I pray before I go to work. Sometimes I have challenging children, and so I have to pray because the flesh in me, don't want to be that sweet, loving, oh, little Johnny, is that the choice you're making? And so I have to pray and go, Lord, help me, because I want to snatch them up like they're one of mine. And the Spirit is like, no, that's not how we're going to discipline. We're going to discipline in love. And you don't have that type of relationship to snatch that child up. So you got to do it in love. And that's the thing. We got to understand what love is. Because, you know, the Bible tells us love is what? Patient. It is kind.
Yes.
It's long suffering. I mean, it's the whole thing. It's not, we're going to jump in the bed. Oh, I think you cute. No, love is past that. Because you'll get to a point when it's not cute anymore.
Exactly.
You're going to get to the point where you feel like it's dragging on you and you want to feel like you want to resent it. But you have to pull on that love.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what message do you want to leave with our listeners about faith, family, and mental well-being?
It's okay to have a therapist, 2 or 3. It's okay to be honest enough to say, you know what? I'm not on top of my game. I'll be honest, I'm a minister. I play gospel in my car, okay? But I do have some days that I'm in that weird space where I will play my gangster stuff. And I'm like, Lord, protect me while I'm listening to this because I got to get this out.
Exactly.
And he's probably up there laughing, going, she ain't got no beat. But I'll be throwing on my own little raps and whatever have you. Like, I'm like, oh, they took me there, Lord, help me. And he's like, I got you, my child. And then I can get back to my gospel and go, now we're going into worship. Now we're going into minister because I have to be in that place. Because if my cup is got holes in it, or if it's empty, I can't pour out. And we have to understand as being a helper, it's the same as being a caregiver. You're giving and giving and giving. But if you don't go back and refill your cup or put what you need in your cup, you can't give nothing else. You are no good. And so one of the things I always tell people is you've got to refill your cup. If it's got a hole in it, learn how to put your cup in.
Right.
Okay? And keep pouring. Keep it under the fountain. Let God keep pouring into it. Don't keep letting it go through you. You are not the vessel for it to go through. Hold some for yourself.
Exactly. Okay. So what's one experience that reminded you that God is truly using you in this work?
Well, I have to think. I went to graduate school, and then when I first came back home, I was like, oh, I'm back home. I'm ready to do it. And so I started working at the health department. And I met this one young client. She was about 12, and she was already a mother. And I thought about myself at 12. I was still playing with dolls. And here she was, had a living doll. And I'm talking to this young girl, and you could tell she was young. And I'm trying to treat her as a mother. And I'm like, Lord, help me, because I see somebody's baby right here. She needs to be rocked. She needs somebody to part her hair and comb her hair instead of her over here with a baby having to be responsible for. And God was like, this is what I called you to do. And you're going to keep working with this young lady. I'm happy to say, and I'm going to date myself right here, this young lady is grown now. Grown, say it with me, grown. Has taken care of her children and her grandchildren, and now taking care of a great. Yes, that's her generation. That's her story. But I can say that she is a firm, strong believer of God. And that's the one thing she said to me, because I was chasing her to trap houses and all kind of places. Yes, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we got trap houses. I was running here and there for this young lady because God had assigned me to her. And she couldn't believe that I kept showing up. I went to Eddie B. Warrior for this young lady. I kept showing up. And so when I tell you, this is not an easy job, but the one thing is you got to be present. Not buy a present, be present.
It's true. Be present for sure. So what advice would you give to the young Christian professionals who plan on going to your line of work or into maternal care ministry or something like that?
Well, definitely marry rich, because there is not any money in this field, but it is rewarding if you need that self-fulfillment. It's needed. This is where our leaders are. This is where they come from. I can't look around and go, who's the leader? I'm the leader. I got to do this, you know? And I didn't go into this line of work to make money. I did want to eat better than bologna sandwiches. But I have to say, God keeps me spiritually and physically full that I can continue the journey. I'll be honest.
That's wonderful.
And the thing about it is you got to pray, because I made a lot of steps before without praying. And God, thank God, was able to use those steps and said, That's why you went that way. Now you know to turn back to my way. Because I'm not going to say I was always, oh, Heavenly Father, please tell me which way to go. That came in my older years. Young years, I was bumping and banging my head.
So listen up. So we both young men and stuff like that, and we talk about doula. So can you tell us what a doula is?
Well, okay, yes, I know, because people look at that and go, what?
Yes.
What a doula does is I'm actually in the room with the mother who is birthing, and I'm like a birthing coach. I am helping her through her labor to make it a more her experience instead of a hospital experience, a doctor's experience, but her experience. Because what we have found for even African Americans and minorities, we have a higher death rate in giving birth. And so I joined this because I know that giving birth to a child is a wonderful thing. It needs to be a more personal experience. One, because you will cherish the child more and you will understand the gift that you have been given. Two, I also feel that it helps with a form of birth control, because if you understand the gift that you were given, you're not snatching and stacking them 10 months, 9 months, and whatever like that. You are taking each child and letting them have some time to grow and walk. And I just love the whole experience itself, being able to walk a mother from the beginning of pregnancy to the very end. Because it's not over when she's giving birth. That's when the work starts.
That's true.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's what a doula is. It's really a coach. Back then we called them midwives, and they go a little bit further, but I'm just there to coach them through.
Got you.
So I was watching a crime show, and they were mentioned. That's actually how I found out what a doula was. And basically, that brings me to my point. Have you ever been in a situation where maybe your client or your patient was a little bit taken advantage of, or taking advantage of you, or maybe you?
Well, most of my clientele, I usually am a doula for mothers that are using substances.
Okay.
And so sometimes they get judged from the minute they show up to the hospital. Their labor is a lot quicker. They can be out of control and those types of things, especially if they're under the influence. And so staff and stuff, oh, let's just do this and let's go give her a C-section and let's go. And I'm like, no, let me talk her down. Let me talk with her. She knows where she is. And a lot of these mothers, this ain't their first pregnancy, but because I've caught them in time, they're clean enough that it almost feels like their first pregnancy, because the other ones, they were so under the influence that they didn't know what was going on. So I can remember having a 60-year-old mom, and this was her first one, and she was under the influence, and I was having to walk her through because really hospital staff were really kind of short and was ready to give her a C-section. And that may not sound like much because you say, oh, well, that's a healthy baby and everything like that, but that's a scar for that young lady at 16. I know you've never been a 16-year-old girl, but I have. And to think to have that type of scar. And I was able to walk with her and talk with her and advocate for her that she wanted to continue to push and have her baby naturally. And she is really doing quite well and has gotten some treatment, because in Oklahoma, we don't have a residential in-house program for teens that are using.
Okay.
And so really kind of had to do outpatient and some pop-ups and drive-bys.
So since we're, like he said earlier, two young men, what advice would you give us as young men in the church who might face things like this?
Well, one, definitely keep Christ as head of your life. He's definitely going to guide you in who you pick, as in dating, who you build relationships with. Get yourself a therapist, and don't put up with her craziness. If she's acting crazy, don't let her take you there. You tell her you get a therapist too, because we have to navigate this together. And the thing about it is, a lot of young men get into relationships and they let the young ladies just, oh, she's just being emotional. No, we can all be accountable for our emotions. And you really need to be accountable for yours as well, because sometimes we can trigger one another if we're not equally yoked.
So I just found out you are a doctor. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming to Crossroads Vibes. Until next time, this is Dr. Brown.
Yo, turn it up.
That's a wrap for today's Crossroads Vibes. Big thanks for hanging out with us. Keep the conversation going, keep showing love, and remember, every generation's got something to bring to the table. Catch you on the next vibe.